Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a podcast by Practical E-Commerce.
What is going on, Internet? Eric Bandholz back again with another amazing e-commerce conversations. Hope all is going well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the Internet from me is the one and only Kamil Banc, co-founder of Fragrance One and brother of Jeremy Fragrance. How do you guys have two different last names?
Wow, that's straight to the e-commerce related topics, huh? How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me, first of all. Yeah. Well,
No, I mean, like,
what is Jeremy Fragrance last name?
Yeah. Well, that's. I assume that's not his real last name, obviously.
Well, but to be honest, it is on his passport.
Oh, is it really? Did he legit
Yes.
change his last name?
What he did is it's a AKA.
Okay.
I don't know if you can have that in the States, but in the German passport, you can have like an artist's name, so it's on there. And he signs with Jeremy Fragrance.
He's like totally bought into that persona.
He is committed for sure. I'm surprised he didn't tattoo it on himself yet. But
Does he have any tattoos? Because that might be coming.
well, I can't tell you that. I wouldn't know. I don't see him eye to eye very often in front of me, but I don't think so. I don't think tattoos is his thing.
Yeah.
Maybe when he actually moves to Miami at some point.
Well, just a little bit of backstory for our listeners. Kamil and I, we met at a conference. God, it's got to be like 4 or 5 years ago. The Menfluential conference.
Was that before 2018 or before December 2018? Because that's when we launched.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, it was definitely, you were in Hawaii and you were working on like an electric skateboard.
Oh yeah, that was 2017, I think. Yeah.
Man, this has been half a decade since we met up.
Yeah. Oh my God, time flies, especially the last 2 years, right? But no, I've been doing all kinds of stuff. Started out in Hawaii after I graduated in Germany. I started out working on a renewable energy company and then venture capital network in Hawaii, helping startups and then focusing on crowdfunding campaigns. And funny story is that from my renewable energy days, I was known as the guy with electric vehicles and electric cars and motorcycles. And so this electric skateboard company asked me if I want to jump on board. And
no pun intended, right?
I said yes. So, it's kind of like a funny story. But, that's actually where I learned a lot about crowdfunding and how to do things and how to not do things. And that helped us a lot with Fragrance One, because for some people that don't know, Fragrance One actually started on Kickstarter, and we pre-sold about $1 million worth of fragrance without anybody ever smelling it, me included.
Yeah.
I didn't smell the final product because I was in New York at that time. No, actually, no, I was in Vienna, in Austria at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just bonkers. For reference, like your brother, Jeremy, probably has the largest fragrance audience in the world, right?
Yeah, he's by far the biggest fragrance influencer online, and I really congratulate him to that. He works really hard. He's getting more into like entertainment now as he moves also to platforms like TikTok, and people will want to click on funny stuff. But overall, he's still very fragrance committed and posts like 5 videos a day or 5 pieces of content a day at least. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's been doing this since I think 2014, 2015.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is he's been doing this for a while. You were working on, energy renewables. You're working on the skateboard thing. How did, obviously he's your brother, there's a connection there, but how did you guys decide to go into business? Because your personalities are very different from my perspective. Like he's very gregarious, very outgoing, very, for lack of better terms, like flamboyant's probably not the right word, but just showy. And you are definitely more of that chill, understated, cerebral type of person.
Yeah. What was your question about
Well,
that?
I mean, how did you
That
guys?
was more of like a statement. I agree.
How did you guys decide to get into business together? Like,
Oh yeah, right. So I mean, I don't want to. I hate taking too much credit. But you should ask him. But I feel like as you grow up, and obviously, we were 4 years apart. I'm the older one, even though nobody believes it. For some reason, everybody thinks he's the older one. Maybe because he's too much in the sun or working out too much. I don't know. I'm just chill, like you said. But anyway, so on certain points in our lives, there's always like these little crossroads, and I'm just happen to be there and give him like a push in a certain direction, and then something comes down later, a couple down the years, and not trying to get off tangent too much, but back in the days, I used to break dance. He was the little computer nerd playing Warcraft and all that type of stuff. Never went out, and then he saw me breakdancing a little bit, and then he was like, "Oh, well, I like this. I want to try this." Boom! Like 3 months later, he had like a huge channel. I think this was around 2006 or 7 when YouTube just came out. He had a huge crip walk tutorial channel, and people were following him. Then it got taken down for copyright infringement. Fast forward probably like 5-6 years, actually 10 years almost, after he's been doing a lot of other things, including being in an entertainment business and all. He started a mineral water brand and an energy drink. I told him, hey, you got to work on your own thing too. You got a really good thing going, but why don't you just go back to YouTube and just do something fun? And he kind of took it to heart, and boom, 6 months later, he was into fragrance. He never even told anybody. Nobody from our family knew about it. And he had like 60,000 followers, which I thought at that time was pretty good for an organic channel, just talking about something. And what I thought was really impressive is that he had this little secret sauce, whereas everybody in that industry was talking about what does this fragrance remind you of, or what does it consist of? And while this is important, and he knows all that stuff too, he really focused on that compliment factor. Like this was his secret sauce. And that's how he was able to really build up a huge following, because people just wanted to see those girls react to it and then rate it from 1 to 10. And so we kind of helped the viewer to discover what really matters to them, which is why a lot of people wear fragrance, right? They want to get compliments. And so then in 2018, after planning a little bit how to do that whole fragrance brand, we just thought of, why not take this concept and turn it into a brand where basically we don't even say we sell fragrance. We don't sell fragrance. We sell compliments. And that's why people buy it. And that's, I think, essentially was why we were able to turn a big negative, which is nobody ever smelled that thing, into a huge positive. From, hey, you don't have to smell it. If you want to get compliments, that's what you get. Like if you got, our first fragrance was called Office for Men, right? So you can't make it more simple. If you're a guy in the office and you want to get compliments, boom, this is what you wear. And so that's the way the story goes.
Yeah. So you launched with what, 2 fragrances, 3 fragrances?
No, it was just one.
Just one.
Just Office for
wow.
Men. Yeah.
And that was $1 million product day one.
Yeah. And I think the second largest fragrance campaign was $60,000.
Yeah.
That was before. So we kind of upped it a little bit.
That's being modest right there.
But honestly, the funny thing is, and the ironic thing is, he wanted to have worldwide shipping. And, I think you guys have a fragrance too, right? Are you familiar with that business? So,
oh yeah, alcohol.
When you want to ship worldwide with a product with no existing supply chain and shipping partners, I mean, I'm surprised we didn't go negative on those sales. Like we didn't make a lot of money. We barely covered our costs on that.
Yeah, we pretty much just keep our EDPs to stateside ground shipping, so we don't run into that issue.
Yeah, we got States, Canada, Australia now, and then European Union. We got 2 warehouses. But yeah, we just try to keep it simple. But we have so many requests. We're trying to get into the Middle East. We have so many requests from there. India also huge interest.
Yeah.
But it's just tough. I mean, especially in today's world, but even before all that would happen, it's really tough with fragrance.
What I see a lot with successful Kickstarters is the brands ultimately kind of become connected at the hip with Kickstarters, where you have this big launch, these huge numbers, and then you have nothing until the next Kickstarter. Have you guys been able to transition off Kickstarter, or is that still very much part of your business model?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, we only had that one campaign and that's it. We did think for a while, oh, maybe we should launch the second release on Kickstarter as well. But then we're like, oh, we don't have to. First of all, we brought, I think like 80% of our backers, if I'm not mistaken, were never on Kickstarter before. So we brought them to that platform. And then also our conversion rate from our relatively small, I think at the time, 20,000 or 25,000 email list was at 14 or 15%, which was pretty good. So we didn't have to do this. And we didn't even have to do the Kickstarter campaign to get funding. But because we knew like this is going to sell enough to cover the cost. Just for info, the way we set it up, it takes about $100,000 to launch a new fragrance for us. So we would have that covered. And we did want Kickstarter for a couple of other reasons, though. One was first to get it on the record, get a little bit more credibility. It's more transparent that way. You see, and we're not scared of it. Because on Kickstarter, you're very public and you see the comments of people and, there's always good and bad. But that was one, to get it on record. And then also just to expose it a little bit more and get some sort of feedback from the community, what they want. It's a good way to kind of test your product market fit on platforms like Kickstarter. Yeah, but we haven't been on Kickstarter, and I don't think we'll be again. We have a lot of our original backers. They're repeat customers. So we have about 35% of repeat customer. And also what we did after Kickstarter, we put all the backers into a separate group and we would offer, special deals for that particular crowd. Because, we do hold them dear.
You guys have a pretty high price point for this product relative to some of the fragrances in the marketplace. Fragrance is really so, in my opinion, as a fragrance manufacturer as well, like it's just such a subjective thing, and like how do you guys kind of settle on your price points and build that out and kind of like market test and do it in a way that doesn't ultimately piss people off, but also like
well, it does piss people off, trust me.
You're always going to upset people, and I think this is the interesting like study in pricing is like you're always going to upset people.
Yeah.
And I feel like, to me, like, I guess I've been beat down so much over the past 10 years that I don't want the conversation to be about the price. I want the conversation to be about the product. And, you're always going to have people who are upset about the price. But at a certain point, like the feel of that conversation kind of, the price overtakes everything. So how do you know, like, where that balance is and, like, finding that right sweet spot for that price point?
The price, my brother and I, we've been arguing about this forever and I think that's one of those points where our personalities get in the way. And I do have to agree, though, when I'm not a fragrance guy, right? I'm like a startup business guy. Now I guess I'm a little bit of a fragrance guy, but I'm on the back end. I'm planning more. He's completely immersed in it. So he has this really good feeling for the market and where something that delivers something should be priced at in his mind, right? And that, again, that's debatable, right? But I was more looking at, okay, what is our demographic? What does it look like? What makes sense? Because essentially, and he's not shy about saying that, whether it's Creed or it's some, really, really cheap fragrance, they all cost the same, okay, in terms of making it. The only difference is, in marketing, what do you put into marketing? And then obviously, if you have a huge package and crazy, that's like the most expensive. I'm talking about the juice. The juice costs the same, but packaging and stuff like that, I put that under marketing. So it is what the brands want it to be, essentially. And so we have a very high price point. We started at, I think our average sale from the Kickstarter campaign for Office was €130. And now our most expensive one is Black Tie is €330 for 100 ml. So I think what we did over time, we found a model where he and we both agree. And first of all, what I love about this product, I know it's the best quality possible. So, and that's something that I can only advise to everybody. As long as you know the quality of your core product, not talking about the packaging, right, just talking about the juice and what it's supposed to be doing, giving you compliments. As long as the quality is as good as it can be, you never have to have like a bad conscience in terms of selling it or marketing it. But aside from that, what I really like about our current business, the way it works is, if people follow us and if people stick to Jeremy and they follow us on Instagram or our newsletter, if they engage with us, we give a lot of big discounts. We have a lot of bundle deals all the time. And so the way we can justify this is, look, when you see an expensive fragrance in the store, they have to pay the store, they have to pay all kinds of distributor fees and all that. We don't have that. So we're okay with giving, sometimes up to 60%. I don't think we're going to do 60% anymore, but let's say 35%. And we're good with that, but people see it as like, oh, they're just going back on that pricing or stuff like that. But no, it's not that. We still have a lot of people that just won't buy it whenever. They don't wait for a discount or for a Black Friday deal. And they're fine with that too. They're never disappointed. So on the other side, the high price makes us a relatively easy target because our brand is very closely connected to my brother, the influencer. And since he's a very polarizing person, if anybody ever saw his videos, people love him and hate him. And that translates into the brand as well. But what we did in order to kind of even just see for ourselves, we recently started having reviews on our website. And, really there's probably 95% of the reviews are just good vibes, positive, and people are happy. And there's always a couple that are not so happy with it. But, that's with everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's how we justify our price. We know it is the best product that we could have come up with. It's been made with the best ingredients, with the best companies in the world. And yeah, we're good with it.
Yeah. So I think it's, the lesson there is just kind of having confidence in your pricing. One thing I wanted to transition into is, 2020, we talked about before we hit record, was a surprisingly good year for you guys. And then in 2021, a lot of e-commerce companies struggled due to the Facebook algorithm shifts, but that didn't affect you guys at all, right?
No, it didn't. So to the number one question about 2020, it was actually surprising because, you would think fragrance sales go down because nobody goes out. But it turns out that we actually grew by 40% that year. And a lot of our customers, when we asked them, they were just like, yeah, I just buy it for myself. It just feels nice. And I can kind of relate, even though I don't look at it right now, but even if you work from home and you shower and you put on a nice, I wouldn't say business suit, but you just have like a button-down shirt or something like that. It makes you feel different. And if you want to get into the vibe, I think fragrance is also part of that. So I can see it. I was still surprised though by that growth. Second question, what was that?
2021 with Facebook.
Oh yeah, right. Initially, we did use Facebook. We were working with a good studio out of New York that was helping us. But we found that essentially we could just do all this by ourselves because we have such an organic audience. And instead of paying Facebook and then have those sales that could be cannibalized from our own, we would just do it by ourselves by plugging our product or do a little ad, 3 to 5 second ad before any of the videos. And, the thing with attribution back then was also always kind of the people that you work with, you're always kind of in a hate-love relationship because you want them to obviously push your product, but then they charge you more the more they sell. And at the same time, you can do the same by yourself, so it was kind of a mismatch. And that's why we didn't even do any Facebook ads or any paid ads for that matter on Instagram or anywhere. So it didn't really bother us. But I did hear a lot of companies had a huge issue with that. Yeah.
So a couple follow-up questions on that. So are you 100% organic marketing then? Is that your
Yes.
primary? Okay. So you said Jeremy's creating 5 pieces of content a day.
Mm-hmm.
Is that per platform or is that across all platforms? Is he doing?
I even stopped. I mean, certain things like his TikTok, I don't even look at it. I can't even look at it as his brother because it's just like I can't count how many times I saw him like running around in underwear doing one-arm push-ups just to boost himself up. Which it's just this. It's just him, and it works, and I love him. I know his heart is in a good place, and I know he doesn't do cocaine as much as people think he does, but he's just high on life like crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's at least 5 pieces, and I think it's across platforms. Yeah, I'm telling him, dude, just go back to do like 2 videos a week, but hey, he's just doing whatever feels right to him right now.
So, in terms of your relationship, is it just the two of you guys, or have you built out a team as well?
It's just the 2 of us right now, and
Okay.
I was just on a call the other day when we were talking about hiring, and everybody's talking about their hiring techniques and all, and I'm like, damn, we either are too efficient or we're too small, but I think we need to, there's a good mix right now. We have a lot of help from our logistics company, obviously, so we don't ship ourselves, but other than that, even the customer support we have some really good tools that work very efficiently across platforms, and it only takes about 15 minutes a day to just do customer support, for example. And if you can't take that for your customers, then something wrong with that.
Well, I always said like the best customer support is well-run operations where things just work well. I mean, like there's very little need from consumers if you have a great website, great information, great photography, and then of course everything's in stock and delivers when you say it's going to deliver. You're not going to have a lot of tickets. Like to this point, we still only have one team member who handles our customer support stuff, and
and that would be probably, mixed customer support with social media, maybe even newsletters, and then managing our Discord or whatever else comes up, something along those lines, kind of like an assistant. I think that would be probably somebody we would hire the first if we do.
Yeah. Now, how are the roles split up? Is Jeremy just like 100% content creator in the brand, and you're like 100% of the operations and making sure the ship doesn't sink?
Yeah, but that's roughly it. But he's also involved in the business thing as well. So he enjoys that too. He actually took over the customer support.
Okay.
And he was doing it by himself for a while. I'm like, dude, like I know you like it, and I know you like to be on there and really in touch with the customers, but you just have to focus on some other stuff too. So like I said, I got a couple of tools and I'm helping him out with that now. But again, it wasn't that much, but he's still very involved in the business as well.
Yeah, product.
But I'm more on the back end for sure when it comes to everything that you see on the website and, communications in the back end. Yeah.
I wanted to segue into the other thing we're talking about today. You're a dad, you got 2 kids, but you're also a dad of an NFT. A crypto dad NFT, right?
The crypto dads. Yeah, that's right. Shout out to the crypto dads.
So, like update me as like, yeah, I'm an NFT idiot, right? I don't own any NFTs. I don't entirely get it. Is it like this digital artwork that you just have proof that you own? Is that essentially what it is? Or is there more potential, even from like an e-commerce perspective, you're doing some really interesting things with your NFT that I want our listeners to kind of hear about.
Sure. So it's not only about the artwork, first of all, and the reason why I got into it was for business purposes too. I heard about a story where somebody just purchased like some digital real estate. And I was like, oh man, what is going on for like $1 million or $2 million? And I was trying to, since November, I think I was trying to kind of figure out a way how to get our brand into the metaverse. I hate that term by now, but whatever it is, for lack of a better one, because we're online only, right? So I figured for a brand like us, maybe there would be another way to, have a touch point with our customers. And it's trendy and it's fun. And I like to do 3D work on the side. So I figured it makes sense. And my wife, actually, I proposed the NFT project to her and her business that kind of got us interested in some of their business partners. They launched something. So it's just like a perfect storm. And so what I did with Crypto Dads, it's basically, back to your question. No, it's not only about the art. I think to me, the NFT space is really the new networking platform, really, because through those projects, you can pick and choose what type of communities you want to be connected with. And, there's a lot of interesting people. You have to think about it. Like, who are the people that are trading in NFTs and crypto right now? There's a lot of, tech-minded people, a lot of business-minded people, a lot of investors. It's a cool playground right now. And that's why I started to, build literally a fragrance store. I can shoot you the screenshots maybe later, in the metaverse, where people can walk in with their character and they can kind of read up on our story. And there's a couple of pictures of our products. They can hang out. They can order from there. They can become an ambassador or meta influencer, meta ambassador for our brand. And so that was just a tryout. And what I was thinking, other brands like Adidas and some other, like Samsung, they're getting into it as well. And I was thinking, okay, what could be the utility for our customers if this metaverse thing blows up? So I was thinking back to the why people buy our stuff, right? Which is compliments. So how does it translate into the real world? It's not about you spraying a fragrance on you. It's about somebody else complimenting you on that. So when you translate that into a metaverse, for example, there's this platform called Decentraland where people basically just run around and talk to each other, and you can build wearables that people can purchase and put on their character and then get compliments for that. So believe it or not, there's suits out there that sell for $500, which is basically just a digital suit that you put onto your character to look good. And then you go to a party like DJ Aoki or Paris Hilton is putting up a concert, and then you're just having a good time. So I was thinking, okay, hey, why not just, and it's not out yet, but that's kind of our plan, our first plan to whoever purchases a fragrance called Office for Men, they will get a free business suit or like a jacket or something that makes them look good in the metaverse, well, where they will get compliments as well. If you purchase Date for Men, you might get like a nice rose pin or something like that. We'll see. But that's kind of like the way I'm thinking. And so another thing specifically, what you refer to is the Crypto Dads crowd. Yeah, I recently joined them, and it's literally just dads that buy those characters. And then we hang out on Discord and on Twitter, and they just had their first in real life IRL meetup in Denver this last weekend. And, it's just cool people that get together and do shit together and, having a good time, mostly. I think it's very entrepreneurial focused. To me, every project that's launching, I treat it like a startup. So whether or not I choose to invest, AKA buy one of their NFTs and become part of their community, it depends on what's the utility. Gary Vee, for example, he's a big guy in it too. And I think what he started doing is that you can only attend his VCon if you actually hold one of his NFTs. Otherwise, you won't even get in. So that's a part of his utility, right? You become part of the in crowd.
The thing I think about though is just like I've thought about, like, Beardbrain has a private community called the Alliance, and for me it's like, well, you could make an Alliance coin where essentially you get membership into the private community. You have to have one of the NFTs, and then the other part of me is like, well, part of me thinks of like the permanence of the community and knowing that, the community probably isn't going to exist for thousands of years, right? There's going to be an end to it. And there's just not this, like the value of the coin, I guess, will eventually go down to zero, maybe after I die or the company closes or, and I feel this kind of guilt in having them purchase this NFT, and am I just like thinking about it all wrong, or should I just be like, screw it, let's just do it?
So we're talking about cryptocurrency when you say coin, or an NFT that's just a picture of a coin that you can own to be a member of a club. Because if you're talking about starting your own cryptocurrency, then that's a whole different ball game, something that I'm not that familiar and also not very interested in, because it's essentially literally like saying, oh, this is my Eric coin now. Yeah. And I think I have a Kamil coin somewhere floating in the internet. What makes it interesting in terms of the NFT project is really creating it's really up to your creativity why you would want to create a community and what's the utility behind it. It's not just the coin in that case or the NFT. That's just a driver, that's just something that people have in order to authenticate themselves, whether it's to get into a certain Discord channel or to get to certain website places on your site, or there even I think in New York they just started a cafe where you can only get in if you hold a crypto coin or crypto, not crypto, but NFT on your phone, and then you can scan that and then you can come in. Otherwise you won't even get in, right? So
yeah,
it's really about the utility, the underlying, like, why do people buy into it?
Yeah. Well, I think that, the challenge I'd have is like, we've got a lot of, like, my dad is in the forums. And if I had NFTs where you had to own an NFT to get in the forums, I don't know if he could figure out how to get an NFT. Like, how do I make it as easy?
It's not that hard. And it's getting easier by the day.
Okay.
Well, essentially, you need 3 tools. One is a wallet. Usually it's called MetaMask. The other one is Discord, and then Twitter account. And because Discord and Twitter, that's where the whole space basically communicates with each other. And I actually started a new Twitter account, brand new for that. And man, I tell you, I never enjoyed Twitter until I started playing around with NFTs. It's actually a really fun platform now.
Well, I mean, I'd also like shamelessly plug the D2C e-commerce Twitter space is a really good one too. There's a lot of nuggets of information being dropped. What are some just introductory resources into learning about this? And I mean, in kind of like e-commerce as well, do you know of any great forums or blogs or YouTube accounts or Twitter accounts to follow?
To learn about NFTs?
Yeah, NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of, I would just browse YouTube, that makes it simple to kind of get the idea. And then the second step should be really to pick a project like CryptoDads, but their prices are going up. Actually, as of yesterday, for some reason, they're rocketing. I'm working on a little animation to send it to the space. But there's a couple of good communities, because it's kind of like reading about karate and then
doing karate,
thinking you're a black belt, or actually going through the training and then being a black belt. So it helps to be in a community. And they're very friendly in general. If you have questions, you just pick a project that you kind of like, and then you ask around on those platforms. And that's really the best way to go about it.
Yeah. All right, man. Where can people support you? Where can they buy some fragrance? Where can they contact you?
Yeah, it's fragrance.one.
And one is spelled ONE.
ONE, yes. And then the same on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. Those are our biggest platforms.
Yeah. And what about you?
Me, I'm Exodus, and my
don't contact me is what you're saying.
No. That's actually my artist name, my NFT name.
Oh, okay.
It's like Egg, SITUS, and that's my brand name, or my artist name. I'm a little aspiring 3D artist in the NFT world.
Okay, wait, what is it? EGG? What is it again?
EGGSITUS at Exodus.
Exodus. Okay, there you are.
I did want to. I had this domain for a while. I wanted to start a hipster breakfast tool brand inspired by medieval torture methods. So you would have tools to torture your eggs during breakfast as you make them. And so I started a couple of years ago in 3D, and I was always doing those little 3D fun animations around this topic. Just to kind of practice. And then the space came along, and I figured, might as well just take that. And on the side, I'm now a little artist. I even get fan mail here somewhere. I don't know where it is, but somebody crocheted me an Exodus, which is one of my logo, which is an egg with a popped head.
Nice. All right, Kamil, it's been great having you on. Great catching up.
Eric.
Hopefully our listeners enjoyed it as much as I did. This has been another e-commerce Conversations. Cheers. And keep on growing.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.